common theme I'll see amongst players of all standards is slightly neglecting their fundamental setup position when it comes to putting, and I think a lot of that comes off the fact that making contact with the ball is quite easy. As young children, we've all played crazy golf and we can hit a putt off the face where the ball goes into the hole. So there isn't necessarily the need to be perfect with the setup to make contact, but when we start talking about performance, getting on a golf course, controlling putts, playing on different surfaces, the more great fundamentals we can have in place, the easier it is to develop the skills off the back of that. So there's definitely no right size, one size fits all right place that you have to start, but there are definitely some common tendencies and traits I like to see in players that I just think if you can get into these positions, they're only going to help you do great things. And really, when I'm talking with a player, I like to try to build the setup from the ground up. So the first thing would be thinking about the idea of the feet being comfortable but somewhere around shoulder width apart. That gives you a nice solid base to work from, particularly as we start maybe hitting longer putts or on windier days. We've got enough anchoring in the floor there to not give us too much mobility through our hips and legs, which ultimately, because we're not hitting long putts, we don't need to be moving our lower body too much at all. So somewhere roughly around shoulder width is a good starting point. In terms of the ball position, I quite like the idea of the back edge of the golf ball pretty much sitting in the middle of the stance there. And the idea there would be that we're trying to hit the ball ever so slightly on the upswing. That helps to get the ball rolling, and getting the ball rolling is one of the key traits of great putters. Keeping the ball in contact with the surface means it will take the slopes that are there and it will roll an appropriate distance relative to the power you've put in. And whilst that might not always be perfect, it'll give you great feedback on which bits you got right or wrong in either your green read or your speed control. So back edge of the golf ball, centre of the feet, which are about shoulder width apart. In terms of then getting ourselves into our posture, I really like the idea of starting from a position where we try to get the putter out in front of us, get the putter shaft horizontal, and to try and create some symmetry all the way down our forearms there. So we're not creating any wrist angles like we might do in a long game shot. We don't need to, because ultimately that's just helping us create power. So positioning the forearm and the putter shaft is a great way to help stabilise the face, should give us great control over our start line. And the really simple feeling there would be hold the putter up out in front of you, flex your elbows until they're by the side, and just try to get your forearms and the putter shaft somewhere around horizontal. To get down into our posture now, we're just going to let the putter head drop, so it's about knee high, and we just do that by letting a bit of the flex come into the elbows there. And the second part then will be just tilt from the waist. And all of a sudden now we've maintained some of that feeling of the putter shaft and the forearms having a symmetry. Again, keeps the arms close to the body. That's great for stability. Keeping the putter shaft and the forearms in line is great for putter face control. And it gets us into a nice athletic posture where I feel fairly balanced. From the face on view there as we're tipping forward, so again, back edge of the ball in line with the centre of the feet. As we tip forwards here, the feeling is we're going to try and keep our sternum, try and keep our buttons on our shirt here above our belt buckle. So we're not going to add in any weird little tilts here that might change our alignment or move our centre forward or back. We're just going to come straight down into the golf ball and try to feel, if we were looking from face on there, that if I drew a line at the back edge of the golf ball, it would pass up straight through my belt loop, through the centre of my chest, the buttons on my shirt, and out through the top of my head. So I'm not adding in any weird little angles here. And the final piece might just be then how we think about the shaft angle. So we can think of the top of the grip as a good reference, and we don't want to position that too far back or too far forwards. We've tried to create a fairly neutral ball position here that doesn't need an extreme shaft angle. So as a rough guide, I think trying to feel if we had a T-peg or something in the top of the grip here, pointing it just left of my belly button might be the feeling I'm trying to create. I think with practicing this kind of fundamental starting point, you're increasing the chance of the things that happen in the putt being better anyway. You're getting in such a neutral position that it's going to be quite hard to make a stroke that leads you too far away from where you need to be. And I think the way to practice this is just little and often. You don't have to stand there for an hour doing it. Try to get into that position, simplifying it down, feet shoulder width apart, back edge of the ball in the centre of my feet there. That sensation of the arms connected to the body and the putter shaft and my forearms having a bit of symmetry, and then tipping straight down into the golf ball with the smallest bit of shaft lean. I think if you've never really thought about your setup, it might be worth maybe videoing yourself making a stroke and have a little look and see if some of those bits apply. And if not, maybe just give them a go and see how they help. I think, as I said at the start, putting is definitely not a one-size-fits-all thing. But I think if you can get into a super neutral setup position, you increase the chance of every other step in the chain afterwards being pretty neutral as well. Head over to Golf Prize YouTube channel where you can find this tip along with a variety of tips to help you improve your putting next time you play.